Our podcast is a part of the World Podcast Network, now with over 1,000 podcasts. Visit the World Podcast Network at worldpodcast.network to listen to podcasts in over 12 genres. Come vote our podcast episodes up and help us rise on the leaderboard. If you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Patreon, going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or Learn About Me episode once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there, so you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man of 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing the seventh episode of Hunt for Love. So, yeah, we don't have any hot goss in this episode. We are just going to be going straight into the episode. Of course, again, as a reminder, this month's true crime documentary is The Fall of Diddy. So if you want to hear the rest of that, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt times 2 and sign up for the third tier, which is $7 a month. And that's basically that. Let's head on in to the reason we're here, and that's Hunt for Love. So we ended off with the whole Cole kind of potentially finding out what's happening with Jen and Rob, and him confronting Rob and all of that. And yeah, I think we also had the social media situation as well. So I think because Cole kind of comes in and it's man, don't be tapping your heels on me, honey. Okay. Because he comes in and says, don't talk to me about loyalty. You dumb. Jen comes in and she's just flipping out on Cole and kind of being you're controlling. How? I think she needs to understand there's a difference between controlling and a stage 5 clinger, which I think that is more what he is. But it's not he's trying to be a controlling asshole like some people can be. But anyways, he, I guess finally, growing a pair, says, that's gaslighting. You're gaslighting me because I'm not controlling, but you're telling me I'm controlling. Yeah, you're over here lying to me, so that's called gaslighting. Okay, good for you. He's like, I asked for honesty. I don't and yeah, this is I'm asking for honesty. This bitch literally says, I don't respect a victim. Bitch, a victim of what? Is that blanket? Is that like a blanketed thing? You don't respect a victim in anything? Um, or is that just because he's a man and he is standing up for what he believes in? But that's doesn't bode well for you. And because he's a man, he can't be a victim. Fuck this woman. She is horrible. Like, I don't, this is why she's single. It's not because she's with controlling men, which I'm sure that's part of it, but it's not because of that. She is a horrible person. That's maybe why you're single. Like, seriously. Rob was like, um, I'm not going to listen to Colt, the guy who was caught sending dick pics, because Colt is really going in on Robbie and like, fuck this or whatever, like really going in, like he's really mad. Now, do I disagree with Colt being an asshole to Rob? No, because I hate Rob more than I hate anyone else here on the show. Um, but Rob has a point. Rob has a point. He's not wrong because Colt has done that. Um, Colt is forever cheating on women that he's with. We know he's cheated on Larissa. He cheated on, what was that girl's name again? Jess with the glasses. She looked like that bird. Um, and rumor has it he cheated on Vanessa. So he is a cheater. So that is true. But I guess, well, no, I can't even say Colt owns it because he didn't. So, anyways, he's not wrong. But at the same time, where he's kind of like, I'm not going to take advice from a guy who sent his dick pics to every person he encounters, is also coming from a person who's also caught online cheating. So it's like this weird calling out of people when you've done the exact same thing. It's funny. Anyways, so we have some dates going on as we remember. Nikki and Usman are going on their date. Nikki, random. She's going to go back to being a random really quickly. Don't worry. She says, I love to rescue pets, which is great. She likes to rescue pets, and I'm all about it. But things are different in other countries. He says, he's like, we don't do that in Nigeria. You see a dog, you leave it there because, like, we don't do that. True. Chantel and Joe are also doing their date, which is a beer bath date, which you know what? I was like, okay, sure, it's supposed to be great for your skin and everything. Cool, cool. But, beer has yeast. So we're just going to hope for the best. We're women. Women get yeast sometimes and then get yeast infections. Not every woman, but it can happen. And that's disgusting. Like, cannot. I would know. Um, can I shove something up in there too to ensure that because there is yeast added to the beer bath. I guess, I don't know, could you get a yeast-free beer bath? You know what I mean? Um, anyways, they kiss. It's passionate, whatever. This one and Nikki are doing the spiritual cleanse. And she's like, it's a lot for the first date. So they start talking about marriage in Africa because she asked the question, and I think it's a legit question. I've asked the same question of my boyfriend as him being an African man as well. What do you see our relationship being in terms of what you culturally are exposed to? You are exposed to a little bit, Africa's a little bit more patriarchal. So I think it's a fair question to ask. But I I think he kind of just the only thing he says to her is not even so much that he says, "Oh, like this is how it is, but I don't think that way, or I do think that way, or whatever." The one thing he says, because like and again, it's not so much talking about the African culture, but his religion, which, okay, fine. But that isn't a solely an African culture. So I think you need to kind of talk about that too. But he kind of just says, in my culture, which is actually his religion, he says that you can have one wife or two wives or three wives, or can I get four wives? But he says for him, which we know this, he's said this before, that if he can kind of find the woman who it makes him happy and fulfills everything that he wants, aka can give him children, um he doesn't go for an oldie, then he's perfectly fine having one wife. So she then comes in with, well, I have something I need to say. I'm bisexual. And he's like, oh, oh, okay, okay. Hmm, interesting. So I have a question, and please don't take this the wrong way. How do you expect me to have sex with you? Pardon? Knowing what he's about to say, but before knowing what he's about to say, you're literally thinking, oh, is he shaming her right now? And I think she thought that same thing. It's like, are you shaming her right now? Are you shaming her for the fact that she is bisexual and you feel like you can't be intimate with her because of that, which is really stupid. But like, that's what I'm thinking. No, y'all. No. No. That is not what he meant. He says, because like, I don't do anal. Wait, what? Um, and she's like, oh, no, just normally, he literally thought that being bisexual meant that you have sex in both holes. No, sir, that's just sex. Um, and hey, I'm not gonna tell you to try it, but anyways, um, so that's not what she was saying, obviously. He did not realize that bisexuality meant that she's interested in men and women romantically. Um, so he says, "Oh, I've never dated a bisexual woman before, so like I'm not sure if this is gonna work." Um, and again, maybe it's just the ignorance, but it's I don't know. Maybe that's too much for him. It's okay. Moving on. Cole and Jen are talking, or actually, she doesn't even want to talk to him. He's trying to talk to her, but she says, maybe tomorrow we can talk with professional help because I feel attacked by everyone. So, yeah, bitch, you deserve it. If you can't take the heat, then get out the kitchen. That's all I gotta say. Next, we have a party. Elise is kind of filling Courtney in and everything because Courtney hasn't really been there. And she fills her in on who's on a date. She's like, "Yeah, so I think, who was it? Chantel and Joe are on a date, and Nikki and Usman are on a date as well." And Courtney's like, "Excuse me? What? Who the fuck is Nikki? Who is she?" She's like, "I guess because she's blonde and from Orlando, like, he has a type." She's pissed. Tiffany's like, could he possibly taken Nikki random out on a date because like maybe he saw you with Colt? Which yes, that is what he did. But it's really childish. And Chantel's like, well, let's just talk to Uzi. Let's talk to Uzi. And this is why from now on he's gonna be called Uzi. So they once he kind of gets there, they tell him, listen, you need to figure your shit out. Okay. Ask her on a date. You can't just expect that she is going to give you everything you want when you're not going on a date with her. Like, it's really simple. So he goes on over to her and she's like, so how was your date? with who's Nikki? Nikki. And she's like, you sing her a song? No, and thank God. He says, you spent more time on Colt. Because Colt's like, Colt's have some confidence. That can be alluring. What is going on? This is so weird. For me to be like on Colt's side. She says, well, he's my friend, and you're my friend. And he straight up, which I'm gonna have thoughts on this. He straight up says, I'm not your friend. I don't want to be your friend. Like, I'm into you. And here's my thing. Rant about to happen, y'all. Bear with me here. You can be into somebody romantically and all of that and still be friends. Having the foundation of a friendship in a romantic sense is so important. And I think, like, when you have that with somebody, like, it's perfect. I had that with my ex. We were friends, but we were in love. And you can have that with somebody. I have that with my current as well. It's important to be friends because, like, that friendship comes in with the I like you, I like being around you. Like, you can be in a relationship with somebody, but do you like them? And I think, like, that's where I'm going deep with this, but, like, I just mean, like, that foundation of friendship is so important. So for him to say, "I'm not your friend," I hear what he's saying, but I'm like, "You should maybe try to be friends with her because maybe that's why Colt has a leg up on you because he's actually trying to build a friendship with her. What is happening?" But he asks her, like, "Do you wanna go on a date?" And she says, "Yeah, but, like, I feel like I'm begging you." And I can understand why she feels that way because, like, it's taken pulling teeth for you to ask me out on a date. And now you do after taking this rando on a date, like, you know? Um, but what he's about to say next, yo, this is smooth. It's also one of the sweetest things I've actually heard him say, I think ever. Like, this is the same person who said that BGL was 60% good in bed. You know what I mean? This was the nicest thing I've heard him say. But he says, no, you never need to beg. I feel proud to beg for you. That is so, oh, my man needs to step up. Then a random hot guy, his name is Jay, asked Tiffany on a date. Apparently, they've been forming a friendship. There we go again with friendship, building a friendship. She didn't really think he was really into her. But this comes from Colt kind of talking about the fact that, like, they're going on a date or whatever. And I think saying, like, oh, I've asked someone on a date, like, have you asked someone on a date? But of course, that was May and he was rejected. And Jay's like, oh, yeah. Hey, Tiff, you want to go on a date? And Tiffany says yes, obviously. And Jay's like, huh, asked someone on a date and I didn't get rejected. Like, he's getting upset. And it's like, okay, calm down, sir. You're new here. We don't know you. Okay? Calm down. Anyways, then we see Usman walking Cortney to her room. He's being a little cheesy with her, like that really laying it thick romance type shit. And Courtney's like, sometimes it's like quirky or corny, but I find it sweet. And I'm just like, no, maybe I'm just cold hearted. But I've again been with it's really particular in African men for sure. I've noticed that more so than anyone else. But I've talked to men who are from Africa, of whatever country it may be. They can be a little more cheesy in the things that they'll say. And it can be really uncomfortable, but maybe I'm just so cold-hearted where that doesn't do anything for me and actually turns me off more. I prefer a guy who's a little bit more swaggy and it comes off as not being swag. And I think Usman has 0 of it. So I think that's kind of where it comes from. Whereas, like, my boyfriend, for example. I can use him for example, but use him for example, and then it's like he doesn't use that cheesy, uncomfortable shit because it's like when we first met, because it's just like, I don't know, that's not for me. Um, so it works for her, I guess. It would not work on me. I'd be like, ew, stop. Um, Jen invited Rob to her room for dinner to get away from everybody else. She invites Rob over for dinner. I don't know if this was to strategize. I don't know. But bad choice. Anyways, we had this conversation the next morning with Jen and Cole. Um, with the professionals. And she says, like, I feel like Cole is caught up in the drama and the rumors. Actually, quite the opposite because it comes to him. But this isn't drama or rumors, they're real. And you are, it's gonna come back, bite her in the ass. You are, no, she won't care anyways. But you are basically diminishing his feelings because it suits you. And that's what sucks here. She says again, I feel like he's controlling, you're full of shit. She says, my past relationships put me in these cages. So it's a major trigger for me. Which fine, I could understand that it could be triggering, but then maybe you need to have some therapy to realize the differences between controlling, someone actually being controlling, and you over exaggerating what someone is doing. Then Jen lies to the redhead chick, don't know her name, right to her face and says, I didn't hook up with Rob. Bitch, roll the tape. Roll the tape. We saw you hooking up with him. With the raccoon coming in the room and you had no clue. Man, please. Like, this is ridiculous. Colt says, I want to commit with Jen. So if I have to readjust, I will. It's been 5 days. And you're already talking about commitment? I mean, listen, I'm on her side in the sense of pump the brakes because this guy's a lot. Um, I'm not on her side with sense of controlling, but to use the word like commitment on day 5 is a little much. Then we hear the sounds of the ambulance, sounds of the sirens, and everyone heads to it and they're like, what's going on? What's going on? Oh my God, are you okay? But who is it? Who is the person on the ambulance? We don't know. But yes, we do. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. If you really don't want to know, you can end it here. You don't have to listen past this point. But I'm going to spoil it in case you didn't watch the episode. But spoil, spoil, spoilers. All right, now it's cold. It's cold. We already knew it's cold. Um, but yeah, we'll get more into that on the next episode. But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. That is it for this episode. And this one was a little shorter than the other ones, but what can you do? But yeah, we'll take a break here for a bit on For Love Work. We've pretty much caught up here a little bit, a little bit. Um, but we're gonna head back into Ultimatum, Queer Love, and do some more episodes there. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality T times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityt times 2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityt times 2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks.